It's been a few days, so I thought I'd let you guys know about fats today. We're going to talk about healthy fats. My number two, my little compadre,
Luke, back in the house.
Let's get started here. So, what some of you may not know is your body needs fats. Fats are good for your body, but certain types of fats like trans fats and saturated fats in large doses aren't good for your body. When you're eating, try to have less than a gram of trans fats per day. The less, the better. Fats that are such as monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, they're good fats, they're healthy fats. Your body uses these fats. They can use them for energy. You can use them to help create ATP indirectly. They're good for you. Let's get started. So, first on our list of healthy fats, we've got butters. And these butters can be broken down into nut butters. Okay, I will go peanuts. We've got almonds. We've got cashew. Ooh, dog, and cashew's pretty good. And for those of you that are allergic, actually,
such as myself,
pea butter. Luke introduced me to this. It's a little bit more expensive, but pea butter.
It's a good alternative to peanut butter.
Is a great alternative, actually. How many grams of fat is there in one serving?
I believe it's about 8 grams of fat in a serving.
So it's more or less the same as peanut butter and almond butter. So if you're allergic, hop on those for your nuts. Great sources of polyunsaturated, some omega-6s up in there. They're great for you.
Precisely.
Next, we're going to talk about some oils. So oils in general, you got to be a little bit weary about this because certain things such as lard and fats, as they're generally characterized as, aren't exactly the best for you. But oils such as vegetable oil and olive oil, canola oil, they're pretty good sources for you. They're definitely monounsaturated. They're simple fats. They're great for your body. So we're going to write that down. We've got olive oil. We've got soybean. We've got canola. We've got vegetable. Olive oil is my go-to. It should be your go-to as well. It's cheap. You can get yourself a big bottle like that for like $4. It'll last you a few months. Just put a little tablespoon of that.
Great for cooking.
Great for cooking. As long as you're not letting it sit there and like constantly fry, you're not using it for like a deep fry type of thing. You're generally pretty good with it. It's not exactly the best for it. Now,
one problem I have to say with oil for cooking is that you got to be careful of using too much because it can easily increase the calories.
Yes.
And if that's something you're trying to do is control your weight, then it's got to take it a little bit easier on the oil.
Something I've noticed as well, if you put too much oil, it kind of takes away from the taste of what you're actually eating. So if I put more than a serving of olive oil with my eggs, sometimes I just taste olive oil and it's not exactly the best taste. Now, I've left coconut oil off this list. Now, the reason why I'm saying no to coconut oil is contrary to what a lot of, how do I put this nicely? A lot of like news reports and newspapers say coconut oil is good for you. The amount of saturated fat in it, it's not good for you. Saturated fat in and of itself, it's essentially in its simplest form, it's going to cause a blockade towards your heart. So you're going to work harder in your heart to pump blood. So plus, like realistically, it's not even helping you that much there. You can get better sources of fats, so why not stay away from it if it's better for your health? Why take the chance? Even if these studies are right and I'm wrong, why would you want to take the chance when there's alternative sources where you don't have to risk anything whatsoever? So that's just my point on that. Next, let's talk about meat sources. So I'm just going to make a little bit more room here. Just a little erasing.
Yeah.
Now, I'll let you take this one away here, Luke.
All right.
So with meat sources, obviously those are going to be saturated fats because it's meat. Red meats tend to be higher in saturated fats and fats in general. Chicken's relatively lean. Most fishes are relatively lean, so they're going to be low in fats. There's certain fish like salmon where they're high in unsaturated fats and saturated fats, just based on their biological makeup. It's just how it is. You can't really control that in or out. Now, a general guideline, as I'm talking about saturated fats here, I want to keep it as simple as possible. I want to keep it as simple as possible here, guys. With saturated fats, you should not be eating a lot because of the simple health problems that can result. But with that being said, it's going to be impossible to eat every single day without having saturated fats. So the general guideline that I go with for my clients is anywhere from 15 to 18 grams of saturated fat a day. Try to stay within those guidelines. Above 18 generally isn't the greatest, but it happens, especially when you're bulking. I know myself, I have days where I end up being around like 24, 25 grams of saturated fats, which is almost double what I recommend. It's not every day that this happens. Typically, if I'm having a cheat day, which more or less could be any day on my bulk, but yeah, just try to control your saturated fats essentially.
So, best sources of fat in meats, what would you say is number one?
Well, I would say if you're going to have red meat, such as steak or a beef source, obviously, try and get it from a quality cut. So we'll just write down steak in general terms and beef in more general terms. Obviously, chicken is not going to have much fat, as I was saying before. So those are pretty much your two highest quality types of fats that you're going to get from meats. Certain things such as lamb are also high in fat. Much like steak, it's going to be a saturated fat as well. But again, you can't really control it. You can cut off the fat around it, but you can't really get rid of the fat entirely. Got anything else?
Sources of fish, so you say salmon is a good one too?
Yep, salmon's a fatty fish. It's an oily fish. Indeed. So Luke and I typically do not get vegetable sources of fats per se, aside from when they're indirectly taken in the diet, such as the same way with meat sources. So the only vegetable source that we can really think of is avocados per se. Most of our diet typically comes from the nut sources like we talked about earlier, or the pea butter sources, or the oils. Because they're simple, they're decently regulated in calories when you measure it out, and they're minimalistic in their taste. So that's pretty much all we have to say about fats. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I've informed you. I hope Luke's helped a little bit here. Just so you guys know, Luke's getting relatively leaner by the day.
Of course.
How much are you weighing in at these days?
Just kidding. I'm below 160 now, so I'm basically small again.
A little update on my bulk, guys. I told you I wanted to hit 200 by April. That's probably not going to happen unless it becomes pure fat gains. But as of today, when I weighed myself this morning, with no food on me, no clothes on, completely butt naked, I was 188. So we're making progress. I'll probably end this bulk at around 192 to 195. Stay strong, ladies and gentlemen.